What is up, YouTube family? Welcome back to On-Chain Gaming. My name is Jake, the On-Chain Gamer, and today we have an epic video for you about Star Atlas, which is a grand strategy space exploration game that is going to be built on the blockchain and has probably some of the coolest play-to-earn mechanics that we have seen in a game thus far. I just finished reading through, researching, diving deep into the 40-page Star Atlas white paper, and I could not be more excited to share with you some of this really cool information about this epically ambitious space exploration metaverse. So without further ado, I hope you're ready for this one. Leave a big thumbs up if you are. Let's jump right into it.
On-Chain Gaming.
Star Atlas's gameplay is broken down into 4 key components. The first key component is the grand strategy, political domination side of Star Atlas. So let me just read you a quick excerpt from the white paper to explain how the grand strategy side of Star Atlas is going to work. The grand strategy genre of video games encourages claim staking to expand and install strategic trade routes using an offensive and defensive tactical plan of action. In this mode, the player primarily interacts with a dynamic overview of the charted and uncharted regions of space via the view, aka the Star Atlas. So this is going to be one of those like overhead grand strategy games, but this is just one part of 4 of the main components of the game. And part of what makes Star Atlas so cool is this just isn't one type of game. This isn't just like a grand strategy game like Civilization. It's a grand strategy game like Civilization, but it also has 3 more gameplay components. So now let's look at the second one, which is the exploration side of Star Atlas. To augment that grand strategy, Star Atlas enables players to captain deep space, crewed spaceships to scan and discover celestial and terrestrial assets. Once discovered, rich claims that are staked can be mined, refined, and traded through a network of commercial mining installations, refineries, and the universal marketplace. Exploration will lead to many other surprises in the outer limits of space. In this mode, the player primarily interacts with a top-down space view, showing their spaceship exterior with the ability to go into an X-ray view to see the interior of the ship and the crew performing their individual tasks. Players can also captain and pilot their ships manually through the first-person cockpit bridge view. Cockpit view is also suitable for seated virtual reality gaming. So this second gameplay pillar for Star Atlas seems really cool. The whole deep space exploration, go where no man has gone before, being able to man your crew and just be in charge, the captain of a deep space vessel will be very cool. But then the other side of this deep space exploration where you can actually be in the cockpit in virtual reality, I think is going to be really epic as well. And I think it will be a great addition to the grand strategy part of the game. The next core gameplay pillar is role-playing. So let's hear what the white paper has to say about this pillar of Star Atlas. The first principle driving the entire economy of Star Atlas is the mining gameplay. The wealth derived from mining creates many other branching revenue streams for players to contribute to and establish a career. So essentially what this first part of the role-playing is saying is that most of the wealth that's being generated, the new wealth that's going to be coming into the world of Star Atlas, is going to be mined through mining rigs, through mining claims on different planets. But after this wealth comes into the game through mining, then there's going to be a whole lot of different ways to actually make money in this game. And this wealth is going to enable a bunch of other career paths in Star Atlas, which we're going to be getting much deeper into later in this video. From trading raw and refined ore to cargo hauling to crafting retail components, there is a broad range of career choices a player can embody and advance within the specializations of that career. So now let's look at the fourth and final core pillar of Star Atlas's gameplay. And this core pillar is actual space flight simulation. The beauty of space science fantasy adventure is to manually pilot or captain your own spaceship into the vast unknown. For exploration, combat, and various other role-specific game mechanics, the cockpit view gives a sense of ownership and grounding to a player's chosen ship purchases. The immersive first-person seated view will allow players to utilize equipment such as flight sticks, throttles, multifunctional button control panels, head tracking hardware, and most importantly, virtual reality head-mounted displays. So this is really cool, guys. The 4 core components of Star Atlas should be coming together to form an incredibly immersive metaverse with real play-to-earn mechanics. So now let's dive into the Star Atlas roadmap to see, okay, when is this game actually going to start coming out? How is it going to be coming out? And all of that. So we are currently in phase 1 right now, which is the birth of a metaverse or genesis of a metaverse NFT sale. And this NFT sale is going to be going on for 14 weeks, although I think we're now in the 4th week. And once this ends, there's going to be a big reveal. People are going to get the rewards for the NFTs that they've purchased. But what's also really exciting is phase 2, which is supposed to be happening in July or August. Star Atlas is going to be releasing a browser version of the game for people to use their NFTs, for people to use their mining equipment and start generating passive income before the Unreal Engine 5 version of the game is finished. So the Star Atlas white paper describes the browser minigame as a minimum viable product version of Star Atlas, which is going to be launched as a browser minigame. Players and collectors can play and purchase in-game assets in phase 2, and in-game assets can be utilized immediately in the minigame. So just pushing out a product, a place where people can utilize the NFTs that they've bought for Star Atlas, I think is a really great idea. And one thing that it's going to allow the Star Atlas team to do is kind of self-fund some of the production of Star Atlas. Because if there's at least some playable version of the game, a reason for people to buy NFTs, the ability for people to start generating Atlas coin, all of that is going to create a far healthier ecosystem before the game is finally out, and is going to allow the Star Atlas team to have more resources available to them to truly make an amazing AAA Unreal Engine gaming experience. Phase 3 is going to be a functional 3D shipyard that is actually in Unreal Engine 5. After the successful launch of Phase 2, full production will commence on Star Atlas in Unreal Engine 5. The first milestone of this game version will be a functional shipyard module. This mode will allow players and collectors to view their final in-game assets, but is limited to the shipyard of their chosen faction space station. These assets will include crew, components, and ships. So this is just going to be a really cool place where you can interact and see your NFT assets in Star Atlas in all of their glory. Now, you're not actually going to be able to use these ships or play with these ships in this shipyard yet, but at least you're going to be able to see how cool your ships are actually going to look in game. And remember, at this stage, you're already going to have been able to use these ships in the browser minigame. So they are going to be usable still in the minigame at this point, but you're going to be able to just see them in all their glory in Unreal Engine 5 in Phase 3. So then Phase 4 is going to be the final pre-sale and beta. Once the beta version of Star Atlas is deployed, all remaining pre-live assets will go on sale, and all assets purchased in this phase are immediately and fully playable in the beta build of Star Atlas. Next, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into how the Star Atlas gameplay will feel and some of the strategic things that you're going to be able to focus on and get better at in the Star Atlas metaverse. The first is fraction security zones. New players choose a fraction and start on a fraction secured safe zone. This allows the players to explore all the basic functions of the game except the destructive based gameplay loops such as rescue, combat, and salvage, where you can actually lose your NFT ships. Once the player is sufficiently confident enough to venture out, there is a medium-tiered safety zone that is secured by mercenary groups. Combat is now allowed, but your assets will be reset if destroyed. But the final distant zone of Star Atlas is a wild frontier where full combat and the destruction of NFT assets is a permanent event. However, only a portion of assets and combats are destroyed permanently. For example, the results of a destroyed ship in combat is that the ship asset is decimated into components, scrap, escape-podded crew members, and a certain amount is lost forever. So that is really cool and interesting. I love that there's like a safe zone, a medium zone, and then like a super hardcore deep space zone in Star Atlas. And the fact that if you destroy somebody else's NFT ship, they actually lose it, but then there's pieces there that the victor is gonna be able to collect for themselves is really cool, and I think will make being a very good ship captain and a very good fighter captain a rewarding thing in the Star Atlas metaverse. All right, this next part is really cool, and it's about deep space exploration, but it's specifically about how all visible stars are gonna be real assets that can be visited. Although some distant stars can be prohibitively distant and will require proper fueling to reach, there will be no actual skybox, so exploration can be done visually. This is really cool. That means there's not gonna be any fake stars off in the distance. The entire space that you see when you're exploring in Star Atlas is going to be visitable. Players will pilot their ships manually to uncover all the riches the universe has to hide using their upgradable scanning modules. Higher tier scanning equipment performs deeper and broader and leads to a higher amount of assets that will be discovered. Scanning data can be acted upon and staked, or can be placed on the marketplace to be sold. The next thing that we're gonna dive deeper into is the combat. Ships are gonna be outfitted with weapons, turrets, and missile bays. Turrets can be energy, ballistic, or disruption type to target different components of enemy ships and installations. Turrets are powered by a power supply and are protected by shields and a hull. When encountering another enemy ship, if scanned properly, the player can target subsystems to get an advantage in a fight. Ships can also target land and space-based installations to free up competitors' claims. However, those installations can have their own weaponry installed for attacks. All players can mark their stance as aggressive or passive to signal their desired combat engagement. Passive stance affords a shield and maneuverability buff to allow for escape if attacked without formal declarations. So we have to dive a little bit deeper into this because there's a lot of juicy information in that paragraph. So we learned a lot of things there. First, we learned that if you have really good scanning equipment and you're able to scan an opponent's ship, you can just straight out take out their important ship infrastructure and give yourself a massive advantage in a fight. We also learned that ships are not only going to be used to fight each other, but also to try and take out other players' mining claims on planets. Like if they're mining a very valuable resource and you want to mine that resource, how are you going to mine that resource except by blowing your opponent to smithereens and taking the land for yourself? So this is going to be a really interesting aspect of the gameplay as well that I look forward to learning a whole lot more about. Next up, we're going to dive into station modular construction. This is really interesting. It's kind of about how your mining claims are going to work in Star Atlas. Mining installations have adjacent installations powering and protecting their mining claim. Space stations have the same installations but with major enhancements in the form of decks. Each deck enhances the functionality of the space station and unlocks the associated features that players engage with in the local station. So essentially what this is saying is that there's different quality of mining that you can do. So one mining station that you can set up is completely on the planet where you're doing the mining, you have the energy generation, and it's all just right there on the planet's surface. But you can also set up space stations above your mining claim, which give you a deck and a lot of other abilities like probably access to the market itself and things like that. Decks include commerce for storage and trading, shipyard for ship manufacturing, repairs, refueling, configuration and docking, refinery for refining raw ore into higher tiers, a hangar for long-term storage of ships, retail for crafting and selling components and advanced materials, university for training and recruiting crew, cargo for storing materials and components, and defenses for building turrets and defending the space station's inhabitants. Space stations with commerce decks will be required to connect to the universal marketplace to sell low-tier ore and items. Cargo refinery decks will be needed to access higher tier ore, advanced materials, and components requiring physical intergalactic shipping. If stars are owned to the point of building a Dyson Sphere, then the owner can build a jump point. Jump points allow independent systems to have immediate travel. Jump points provide a significant time cut to intergalactic travel, which leads to a major boost to economic trading lanes. So wow, that is just so cool and so in-depth. I think having a space station over the planets that you're mining on is going to be very, very necessary if you want to have a highly profitable operation. The fact that you can control a star and build a Dyson Sphere around it is just really, really cool. I'm super excited about this component of the Star Atlas gameplay. Next, let's dive a little bit deeper into crew ship component outfitting. So all ships are going to contain components and crew members that enhance the features and stats of each ship. Ships have native aptitudes for different gameplay features. This means that ships can be fitted with specific tiered components that enhance the ship's functionality within those professional roles. Individual crew members also enhance specific functionalities with their aptitudes that they advance via the university deck. So essentially it's saying that your ships are going to have two major things that affect how well they perform. One is the ship's core components. This is the actual technology that you got installed into your ship. But then the other side of a ship's functionality is going to be the crew that's operating that ship. Different crew members are going to have different capacities, different strengths, and different synergies with one another. And a really good crew is going to offer a big advantage to your ship over a really bad dysfunctional crew that doesn't have the right strengths. This says crews continuously build up shared touring duty and receive buffs over time, I guess just for serving together longer. Matching crews incorrectly can cause debuffs to a ship's performance. All right, guys, we've almost gotten through all of this, but there's 3 more things that I want to dig a little bit deeper into in Star Atlas, which are all very cool. The first is professions. Professional roles manifest in their chosen ship roles. Players can earn in-game by having the correct ships, crew, and components for their desired roles. Examples of roles include transport, rescue, freight, repair, construction, refueling, miner, salvage, entrepreneur, CEO, broker, bounty hunter, pirate, smuggler, data runner, commander, general, mercenary, and scientist. If that is not enough exciting professions, if at least one of those does not spark your interest a little bit, then you're crazy. I love the idea of being a miner or being a political CEO of some kind, but then I also love the idea of just being a salvager or a pirate who goes around looking for prey and just picking up salvage to sell on the open market. I think there's going to be a lot of fun different types of gameplay for different types of players. Crew members within a ship also have individual station roles, such as pilot, engineer, repair, scanner, science gunner, mercenary, rescue, power manager, janitor, cargo foreman, hangar foreman, salvage operator, science officer, military commander, military general, private sergeant rookie, smuggler, cargo foreman, and captain. So there's going to be a lot of different roles, both just gameplay professions, but then crew roles in big enough ships as well. There's just going to be a lot of different components to Star Atlas. So now the second of 3 before we end out this video that I want to dive a little bit deeper into is the decentralized autonomous corporations that are going to exist in Star Atlas. And you can think about these a little bit like a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, which is essentially an organization that lives on the blockchain and has decentralized decision making. But it's going to be a little bit different for Star Atlas, specific for Star Atlas, and they're going to be called Decentralized Autonomous Corporations. This is the guild system of Star Atlas. The universe of Star Atlas is expansive. It is a lonely, challenging journey tackling the countless perils alone. Players are encouraged to create factions, combine resources, and compete collectively to outsmart other players. Through the implementation of Decentralized Autonomous Corporations, or DACs, entire space cities can be constructed and the microeconomy managed by those in charge. Careful strategic cooperation enables players to dominate regions and the resources available therein. The Polis token will serve as a pivotal role in these cities, permitting the owners of political clout to impose taxes, fees, fines, rules, and laws on those outside the DAC, wishing to gain access to these entirely independently owned cities in Star Atlas. This part of the game is just so epic. There's just one more thing I want to touch on before we end out this video, and then I'm gonna have to do a second video completely on its own about the Star Atlas tokenomics and the two tokens, the Polis and Atlas tokens. We're gonna have to make that its separate video, but I just want to touch on the economics a little bit in this video. Unlike most games in existence today, Star Atlas provides a unique opportunity for players to extract in-game virtual earnings into real-world income. Where many game developers opt to monopolize asset ownership and distribution through restrictions on reselling, Star Atlas fully embraces the potential of decentralized self-sovereign ownership of assets permitted through the implementation of blockchain into asset ownership and NFT marketplaces. So this is pretty universal among all NFT games. Star Atlas believes in real player ownership, real scarcity, and real open markets with real cryptocurrencies. The ethos of the Star Atlas development team is to encourage the monetization of time spent in this virtual world and emphasize the ability for this monetization to transcend the metaverse to the real world. Digital assets owned always belong to the holder, and crypto assets earned can be converted into fiat currencies friction-free. We believe this is the model for the future of gaming, and I 100% agree. I mean, this channel is called On-Chain Gaming. That's all I talk about every single day, is just how incredible the future of gaming is going to be with these play-to-earn mechanics, with real property rights and real item and ship ownership, real NFTs that are verifiable on the blockchain. Just absolutely incredible, and then real economies and currencies that transcend the metaverse of the game into real life. It's gonna bring gaming to a whole new level. People don't get it yet. Gaming is going to be changing forever, and I personally believe that play-to-earn crypto, that blockchain games are gonna be bigger and they're gonna have a bigger impact on the world than gaming itself did when the first video games were created. So if you're super excited about all of this and you want to continue learning more about Star Atlas and blockchain gaming, remember there's going to be that second video just on the Star Atlas tokens, then make sure you hit subscribe and click that notification bell, and you'll be notified when I post future blockchain gaming content. And then if you enjoy all this work that I put in to educate you guys about these epic blockchain games, then leaving a big thumbs up will be very much appreciated, as that will allow the YouTube algorithm to see that this video is good. And when the YouTube algorithm sees a ton of interaction, it promotes the videos to more people. So that's an incredible way that you can help grow this channel. If you want to support us even more though, and become a producer of this channel, then you can support us on Patreon by checking out the link below. Once we have 1,000 Patreon supporters, well, Patreon/YouTube members, once we have 1,000 across both of these platforms, I'm gonna be minting and sending out 1,000 day one supporter NFTs to all of the supporters. So I'm really excited about that, and we'll see how long it actually takes to get that many supporters. I do want to say thank you to our producers that we have right now that joined the very first day that we launched this, and I look forward to more of you guys who are watching joining up. And until next time, guys, have fun roaming the metaverse.